From the Gospel of John. As soon as Jesus heals my eyes. Done. I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never hunger, and he who believes in me shall never thirst. I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If anyone eats of this bread, he will live forever. And the bread that I shall give is my flesh, which I shall give for the life of the world. I say to you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink the blood, you have no life in you. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life, and I will raise him up on the last day. I didn't make it up. I didn't say it. Jesus did. He is the bread of life. And he told us, unless we eat his body, which we are going to partake of, and this one, which is also his body, for he is the Word, which was with God, which is God. Jesus is the manifestation of the Word of God. Eat his Word as well as the bread, and drink his blood that was poured out for you, and you get eternal life. That's a pretty good deal. Father, in the name of Jesus, I thank you for this blessing that you have poured out on us beyond our wildest dreams of belief. We can't begin to comprehend the depth of what you've done for us. Help us, Holy Spirit, to understand and to accept this and believe this without question as we partake of these gifts, that we might be unified with Jesus our Savior, one with him, one with the Father, one with the Holy Spirit, and one with one another, in his precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Don't stop. Give me that.
The Lord, I know there's a scripture, can't find the scripture, but the word says as a hen gathers his chicks, so the Lord covers us and he protects us. And I just saw that today while we're worshiping. The Lord was just pulling us in and covering us under the shadow of his wings. He loves us so much. And he just wants to protect his children. Amen. Hallelujah.
Those of you that are ignorant, I want you to understand something. God, whatever it was you came up for, you received it. I know you received it because when the Lord specifies it ahead of time, it's completed already. All we have to do is take the action.
Amen.
And the reason I know that this was a word from the Lord, we need to start paying attention when somebody says, the Lord impressed me to say this. We need to start paying close attention to that. When the Lord speaks to us, He don't play games. I know this is His plan because that's exactly where I'm going. I'm going to finish last time, son, which was Isaiah 61. I'm going to take the rest of it from Luke chapter 4, verse 18, which I felt like might be the whole theme for our tent revival in November. Because what we want to do, I don't know about you, but I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of reading about it. I want to see it. It's time for it to manifest. And it's in our hands. It's up to us. Do we believe it? Do we accept it? Do we grab it? Yeah. You are fighting a war. Your enemies over here trying to make us all think we're stupid and dumb. and that this ain't real.
God don't do that. He might have healed somebody else, but he didn't heal me.
Well, you better walk in your healing, Jeff. Walk in it. Somebody asked Jim Brown, y'all don't know who Jim Brown was. He was with the Green Bay Packers when Bart Starr was the quarterback. That's the 60s, y'all. Bart Starr came from a ghetto in one of the big cities, I think it was New York, where most of the kids turned out to be drug addicts and dead before they made 18. And somebody asked him, what made you become a professional football player? He said, I decided one day that's what I was going to do. I was still a kid. I used to walk down the street saying, how does a professional football player walk? How does a professional football player talk? He said, I started assuming that. I started talking and acting and thinking like I was. And I became one. Folks, if the Word of God says this is going to happen, but if we don't walk in it, talk it, and do it, it won't happen.
That's right.
It just... And when it... 3 more people say, this ain't real. You don't see it anymore. I'm standing on it.
Amen.
We're going to get it.
Yes.
Let me digress. It's time for commercial. On behalf of our dear Miss Lorraine Brazel, we're getting rid of that. We are no longer going to mess around with Miss Brazel. By the end of this month, forget Brazel. She don't exist here anymore. However, Lorraine, you pray with her. So, I do pray, Lorraine Brazel, along with their families, invite you, that's all of you, to celebrate their marriage on Saturday, August 31st. That's the last day of this month, y'all. It's a good thing because I don't know any month with 32 days. 2019 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's a good time. At the Aphrodite Den. Aphrodite Den. It's on 212 Venture Boulevard. Venture Boulevard is off 311 right after you pass Hollywood Road, where it takes 15 minutes to make a left turn. Because there's no light on Venture. At 2 o'clock, this will be on the bulletin board alongside of the other one. That way you'll have the information of where it is, when it is, and they would love to have y'all there. Okay? They really would. It's going to be a nice, I still didn't talk to Deanne yet. Probably mad at me because I didn't. But probably Wednesday afternoon might be the best time to catch me. Of course, I don't know. Funeral we'll go to Wednesday. Got a graveside service to go to tomorrow. One of our food bank folks. Anyway, y'all put down on your calendars for the 31st. Go to the Aphrodite Den. We'll cast out all the demons over there, and then we'll have a wedding. I ain't too fond of Aphrodite. I knew what she was. Oh, anyway, I started, was it last week? It was the week before last. Somebody else was here last week. Who was last week? It was me? Oh. If I'd have been at church, I would have known that. On Isaiah 61, and we talked about what Jesus said, and we dealt with the poor and the brokenhearted. I want to go to Luke 4, start verse 18. Read that scripture one more time. Because Jesus took the book in the synagogue, and he opened up to the book of Isaiah, and he found this passage and said, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, the recovery of sight to the blind, and to set at liberty those who are oppressed, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord. But folks, let me tell you something. This is the acceptable year of the Lord. It has been the acceptable year of the Lord since the day Jesus read this in the synagogue. Because if you go back to 61, you'll find out the next one, the next line in that verse says, "In a day of vengeance of our God." You're not in the day of vengeance. I'm glad about that. You might not be, but I'm here. I done been through enough misery. Maybe you like misery. Charlie Jones said, if you want to be happy all the time, it's real simple. Learn to love your problems. If you learn to love your problems, you'll be ecstatically happy all the time because you sure got problems, don't you? Well, it's the acceptable year of the Lord. Now, when it says He's going to set the captives free, and it's going to liberty to the captives. Well, them poor folks in jail is going to go open them prison doors, huh? Like He did for Peter. Remember Peter? He was chained up. The angel came in, broke off his chains and shackles, opened the door, and walked right past the guard, took him out, set him free. He was a captive in prison, was set free. But I got news for you. You can be set free in prison without the door ever opening. See, when somebody said, well, I accepted the Lord, and I've been praying, I can't wait till He gets me out of this jail. You got to get me out of this jail, then I'll be able to serve Him. No. If you accepted the Lord, you're free now.
That's right. That's right.
You're free now if you never get out of that jail. And I'd like to see a scripture reference to that. Okay, Paul and Silas. They've been beaten. They're locked up in jail. They're chained with guards all around them. It's midnight, where most people would be crying and weeping over their wounds. They're singing. They're praising God. Are they captives? No. They're not captives. They're free. Freedom has nothing to do with your ability to move around. Read some books. Read the story of Johnny, whatever her name was, who broke her neck diving into a pool. Erickson. She was free the moment she accepted Jesus Christ. Until then, she was a captive of bitterness. And then a young man that missed a trampoline that was such an expert at everything he did. He was an athlete extraordinaire. He didn't need spotters. He didn't need help. He could do anything. And he missed his trampoline, hit the floor, and was a hopeless quadriplegic for the rest of his life. Heard Grant Taft talk about him. Grant Taft was the coach at Baylor University. Said they brought him up on the stage at the university to speak to the young people. They had him in a wheelchair. They had his little legs crossed. They put the microphone under his throat because he didn't have enough power in his lungs to speak loud enough. And he spoke to these kids about Jesus. And he said this: what happened to me, I would never wish would ever happen to any of you. But for me, I'm glad that it did. Because if it had not been for that, he would never have accepted Jesus Christ. His freedom had nothing to do with his ability to move his body around. It had to do with the freedom that Jesus gives. He told Grant, the reason they crossed my legs when they put me up there is to make me look human. It is the Spirit that gives life. The flesh profits nothing. Freedom from captivity doesn't necessarily mean that you no longer are captive, whoever got you captivated. But there are things you can be delivered from that will give you freedom. Because you can be made a captive a lot more than jail. You can be a captive of drugs. If you don't think the people that are on drugs are slaves to it and are captive, they are imprisoned by drugs.
That's right.
Only those people who are rotten people that don't have anything to do with God. That's the ones. No. I got a godchild who died of a drug overdose. Pastor Ronnie Lutheran has a daughter who died of a drug overdose. Drugs are addictive captors. Once you're addicted to them, you are captured by them until you are delivered. And can you be delivered from drugs? Absolutely. You can be delivered from drugs just like you can be delivered from prison.
That's right.
You can get a full pardon. When that word went out today, anybody got any chains that need breaking, that's the time. I don't care what that chain is. You could be a homosexual with full-blown AIDS and be delivered. Yes. You can be broken and delivered of drugs instantly. You don't have to go to a rehab. You don't have to do any of those things. There are too many people who have done it. God can break that chain if your heart is right before Him when you come.
Amen. That's right.
And you believe in your heart you're going to get what you ask for, He will give it to you.
That's right.
He said it, not me. You can also be captive of alcohol.
Yes.
I was going to bring Ron up here with me on the platform so that y'all could talk with Ron for a while. Ron was actually a 5'11", full-grown man, breathing, talking, walking. Could even work. Ron's in a box up there on the top shelf in the back. He was a captive of alcohol. He never accepted the freedom that Jesus could give him. I pray God he accepted Jesus anyway, but he could not give up the idol of alcohol. He couldn't give up his captivity in alcohol. And he killed him. But I remember a man, I read in a book once, this man said, the devil comes not but to kill, to steal,
Right.
and to destroy.
That's right.
Well, he stole his sobriety, he destroyed his life, and then he killed him. Well, he was an old man, though. He's 40-something years old. I mean, good gracious. He wants to live longer than that. Bunch of us. He was captive. You can be set free of alcohol just as well as you can of drugs. Jesus didn't come here for you to mully grub in your problems for the rest of your life. He came here to set you free.
Yes.
He came here to rid you of all this stuff.
That's right.
There's another thing you can become captive by, and it's called pornography. We don't talk a lot about pornography. I'm going to tell you one thing. It's one of the most doggone destructive addictions that exist today. It's a lie. It'll make you believe an untruth, and it'll drive you to the craziest, stupidest things if you don't break that chain.
Yes, amen.
God can deliver you from that totally, completely, 100% instantly.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Don't live in that captivity.
Amen.
We don't talk a lot about that, but I had some good teachings on pornography. I like what Job said. You should remember this well. I have made a covenant with my eyes. Therefore, I will not gaze at a maiden. What he's saying is, I made a cover with my eyes. I'm only going to look at things that are holy and wholesome. I am not going to let my mind go into places that don't belong.
Amen.
That mean the devil ain't never gonna plague you with that again? Yeah, he will constantly.
Oh, yes.
Read a story once. I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but I read a couple of books. Read a story once about a man who had a problem with this. Because it leads right into the next one, which is lust. He had a problem with lust, and pornography. And his mind would never get off of it. And he decided the best thing to do was to devote his life to God and wipe his life out of everything else. He joined a monastery. He joined a silent order of monks. Of course, I like those because I remember one guy who went in, he could only speak once every 2 years. And after 2 years, he finally got to come into the head abbot and he said, okay, you can say one thing. He said, the food stinks. 2 years later, he said, okay, you can say one thing. The beds are uncomfortable. 2 years later, he come in, one more thing, I quit. And the abbot said, I can understand you quit. All you did since you've been here is complain. It's not how often you complain. You complain all the time. You know what happened to that monk in that monastery? In that silent order? The lust got worse. He couldn't even sleep at night. I'm going to tell you what. If you mess around with pornography, I'm going to tell you right now. You can look at videos. You can look at magazines. You can read it. You can do whatever you want. But nothing is as vivid and as debilitating as your mind.
Right.
You remove everything from your eyes, your mind is still working.
That's right.
You got to be delivered up here.
Yeah.
And it comes from here.
That's right.
But it's possible.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
It's possible to be totally delivered. Totally delivered. I'm not going to tell you having the privilege of having worked for a telephone company. I've been into a lot of houses. You don't want to know some of the stuff I've done. It's some of the most unusual places. So I mentioned lust, but I want to tell you something about lust. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with sexual lust. You could lust after a lot of other things. If I got a problem with lust, it's donuts. A lot of people lust after money. They're easy to spot. If they're buying from you, they will talk trash to you about how worthless it is until they get your rock bottom price. If they're selling it to you, they will praise it and go make it 5 times its value. Because their lust is not for items or objects, but for money. They don't want to part with theirs, and they want as much as they can get.
Right.
Folks, money is great value if it's used for others. Do you know that nothing has any value at all? Absolutely nothing has any value until you give it away. You know that?
Yep.
Oh, that's, I don't know. Yeah, I got some things that are real value. I remember old Chris used to love to play golf. He loved it so much he probably would play by himself sometime. You know what's wrong with playing golf by yourself? You get on a par 5 hole, that means it takes, for a real good pro golfer, it takes 5 strokes to get in the cup. And you whack that ball from your tee and get a hole in one. 5-stroke hole in one. You'd be jumping up and down, screaming and hollering, so excited. You know what? All of a sudden it would dawn on you. Ain't nobody on earth gonna believe that. There is no one here to share it with. Therefore, it has no value. Just like the one that got away. You should have seen that fish. But I didn't. And you ain't got it. But be careful what you lust after. Food, Work. It's possible to lust after work. It becomes first and foremost in all things that you do, going back to go to work, go to work, go to work, go to work. Your work becomes I'm always looking to get off, get off, get off, get off, get off.
That's it.
Here's one that's real serious. You can be captive with your attitude.
Yes.
And I have never seen, of all the ones I mentioned to you, this is probably the most difficult one to get delivered from. Because a person whose attitude is controlling them, doesn't know it, won't listen. And you got a bad attitude, I'm going to tell you what, you can talk and talk and talk and try and show them any kind of way you want. They're not listening, they're not listening, they're not listening. They need, I like to call it an optorectomy. Change their crappy outlook on life. That's all a bad attitude is you're looking at life the wrong way. You don't have to have a bad attitude. You can change your attitude anytime you want. It's not what happens to you that makes your attitude. It's your reaction to what happens to you that makes your attitude. I guarantee you.
Yes.
Somebody slights me or does something to me, how I react to that determines how I feel about it.
Exactly.
Just, so what? Hey, they ain't never rejected me, done anything to me anywhere near as bad as they did to Jesus.
That's right.
And he put up with it for me. I put up a little bit for him.
Amen.
Be careful with the attitude. You can be delivered from a lousy attitude.
Yes.
I'm never going to use people as examples. I know a bunch of them. There's some of them that I keep on my prayer list every day. Their life has been totally destroyed by their attitude. No matter what happens, it don't matter how good it is. It's never enough. It's never good enough. And it'll never change the way they feel. It's like they're waiting for something bad to happen so they can say, see, I told you. Look, I'm guilty myself a lot of times. But that can be broken, that can be fixed, you can be delivered from that. And last but not least is idolatry. We live in a land filled with idols. One of the drugs, I just finished my CEU, my continuing education hours for my nursing license, and I did it on drug addictions. And one of the last drugs in the book is steroids. Make my body strong. Well, why do you suppose and most of the people that are having problems with this are young people? Junior high, high school. Well, why do you suppose that, especially boys, why do you suppose boys are so about what's the number one idol that we lift up? Sports. Oh, we give them gold, we give them silver, we just gave a contract to a football player, and the Saints gave $100 million to play football? Give me a break. The Superdome didn't cost that. To play football? That's all right. 10, 15 years ago, the Texas Rangers gave a young man a contract for $150 million to be a shortstop. You know, that's the guy standing between second base and third base and tossed out the ball. why don't we pay the goalie on the soccer team $150 million? They're doing the same thing. We have idolized sports heroes. And if they speak, oh, we gotta listen. Not me, baby. I don't care what they say. I really don't care what they think. Well, I think you ought to vote for this person. I don't care what you think I ought to do. I think for myself. And I love it when they have these award shows. Sometimes I like to watch the award shows so I can look at you and say, who is that? Grammy Award, what song? Who is that? Country singer? Academy Award, so-and-so. Never heard of them. So I can't be impressed by them. Huh?
That's right.
But look, don't misunderstand me. I like watching America's Got Talent. I really do. It's the closest thing we have anymore to a variety show. Well, y'all old enough to remember variety shows. Variety shows were interesting because you had different acts coming out. You might have a tumbling act one time, and next thing you had a puppet act, and then somebody would sing. Yeah, you never knew what was coming next. And that's what you got on America's Got Talent. Some of these people, they ought to be boom real fast.
Right.
Some of them really do have some unique talents. But hey, do we make an idol out of these people? So you can sing. Whoa, where'd that come from? Came from God.
That's right.
He gave you the talent to sing. Use that talent for His glory.
Amen.
I'm not going to bow my knee to you because you got a beautiful voice. Because I tell you what, for every beautiful voice that gets on TV that's making $1 million a day because they sing so good, there's at least 1,000 sing just as good as them when I'm not there.
That's right. Yep.
You don't have to. Just because you sing good don't mean you're going to become rich and famous. Besides, if you become rich and famous, you probably find out you were better off before you were rich and famous.
Right. That's right.
Well, we do without it, but those are small items. There are bigger items than that. I'm going to show you an idol. Gold, molded in gold and silver. And it is so prolific in our society today that more people spend time worshiping this idol than anything else, including their wives, their husbands, their children, or God. And there it is, in all its splendor and glory. No lot bowing. I defy you to go anywhere, wherever there are people gathered, and not see. I just took a new job at a different hospice. If I could have gone and spent a week there, I would have told them, I want to introduce you to Mr. Johnny Paycheck. I don't know if y'all remember Johnny Paycheck. He's an old-time country singer. He sang a song once. I said, Johnny, would you please sing your song? Take this job and shove it.
I don't work.
These people do not use pen or paper. Now, they gave me one about a little bit bigger than this. But I saw one guy in Lafayette. I went to work with him one day. They used one this size. Everything is here. Everything. The litany of reporting, those of you that ever worked in nursing understand what I'm talking about, is done on this. Now, how you feeling today? Huh? How you sleep good last night? Huh? How you was doing okay? Huh? I didn't get in front of anybody and do that. Well, leave that stupid thing in the car. When I get out, I'll play games with it. It ain't good enough? No. No time sheets. No time clock. Folks, I'm telling you, this is where we're headed.
Yeah.
It's the worst idol that's ever been invented.
Amen.
No, I didn't make no friends when I did that, did I? Okay, he's going to give sight to the blind. I got to hurry up. I'm out of time. There are different kinds of blindness too. There's physical blindness, and I know he can give sight to a physically blind person. I've seen it. I saw it. So we know he can do that, but there's also spiritual blindness.
Yes.
Spiritual blindness many times is worse than natural blindness because it causes you not to be able to see truth, not to be able to see past the physical.
Right.
I shared with y'all, I think, last week about Elijah when he was praying for the rain to start. He was squatted down with his head between his knees. He was blocking out the physical and looking through the spiritual. He had his aide looking at the physical. And he kept his head there until the rain came. You got to be spiritually minded.
Yes.
You got to have your eyes spiritually, directly. God's not coming to you through the natural, but through the spiritual. It may manifest in the natural, but it's a spiritual move. So spiritual blindness, you can be delivered from spiritual blindness too. You can also be delivered from mental blindness. In other words, my mind won't accept anything but what it believes now. We believe what we think is true, whether it is or not. That's why I like Kirk Campbell's method of witnessing on the street. Hey, you got any spiritual beliefs? Yeah. What are they? Listen, listen. Huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. If what you believe weren't true, would you want to know the truth? No. Okay. Well, of course. Well, let me tell you about Jesus. First, I want to know if you got spiritual beliefs at all. Then I want to know if you're willing to accept the truth if what you believe isn't true. If you're not willing to accept it, then what's the use of me wasting time trying to tell you about it?
Amen.
So anyway, and last but not least, to proclaim liberty, rather, set at liberty those who are oppressed.
Yeah.
You know anybody who is always depressed? Always depressed. You can't do anything with them. They won't get out of the house. They won't go anywhere. They won't do anything. They won't join in any gathering. I got a sister who won't even come. We tried to invite her for a holiday. She won't come around because she's always depressed because she lost her son and her grandson. And her husbands, 1, 2, and 3. And her other son moved to Ohio. Poor pitiful me. I'm all alone. Well, get out of the house and join the rest of the living world. You still got family that care about you. The reason you lost your other 2 husbands because you couldn't stand around being around that much depression all the time. I understand where it came from. I understand the difficulty of her loss. I do. It was almost 30 years ago. Do you realize what happened? She died. She's still living in the day her son died. That's where she lives. She can't live now. Do you think her son would want her to die that way? No. Is it easy to get past that? No. Is it possible? Absolutely. Absolutely. Just let the Lord deliver you from it. He can deliver you from oppression, depression, being bullied. He can deliver you from that too. You get a friend like Zane around you, if they bully you at school, Zane will take care of it. Zane can put his heel on top of your head. and still stand up straight in front of him. Fear. Fear is an oppression. Yep. It's false evidence appearing real. I like the other two. Fear knocked at the door, faith answered, and no one was there. There is nothing to fear. We have it anyway. But there are a lot of fears that hold us back, and anyway, you could preach several sermons just on fear. Fear of failure is one of the biggest. Second only to fear of people. Most of us have an innate fear of people. What they might think. I remember Charlie Jones used to say, "Hi, Lord, how are you? I got no self-confidence. I'm always afraid what everybody else is thinking about me. And then when they all found out, they weren't even thinking about me. They didn't even know I was there." Failure is an obsession too. We can be oppressed by failure. Everything I've done, how's it work? Being ridiculed cause you to be oppressed. You've been ridiculed. Why don't you come down off that cross if you're the Son of God? Saved other people, can't save himself. I call that ridicule. They were making fun of him. Ever make fun of you? Yeah, where's that God you're supposed to be serving? He's still on his throne, Jeff.
That's right.
He's got control of this too. Don't you ever worry about it. He knows what's going on, and he ain't blind or deaf. And last, and this one definitely can be delivered, is demonic. You can be oppressed by a demon. Well, I don't think Christians can be possessed. No, but they can certainly be oppressed. You can have a demonic force in your life bringing oppression upon you constantly. You don't have to put up with it. You can be delivered from it.
That's right.
Is it easy? No, it's not easy. Well, not too many people want to deal with it either, but I'm going to tell you what, I've been in a bunch of services, in a bunch of situations where we took the demons out. And boy, did they manifest. That gal watching, if I start praying for people for deliverance from demonic oppression or depression or whatever, one of the last things I like to do when I think they might be delivered is say, okay, demon, if you're still here, I want you to manifest yourself right here in front of everybody. You ever see a demon manifest himself in a person? You ever been in a Catholic church? Been inside of a Catholic church? Do you think you could crawl under the pew? Not under the kneel. You put the kneel up. Seen women do it. Slither under the pew in the church like a snake. That's the manifestation of demonic power. Oh, I'm scared. No, I'm scared. You get out of here. Don't ever be afraid of a demon. You got authority over them.
That's right.
Amen. That's right.
You don't have authority over the ones that control areas in the second heaven, but you have authority in anyone that manifests on this earth. Anyone that manifests itself on this earth, you have authority over. They're not going to listen to you. They're going to push you as far as they can. But they got to go. You got to go.
That's right.
I've seen them. I've seen some of them go from demonic possession that the next morning, when we opened up the service, I didn't recognize the man. Somebody had to tell me who he was. Because once that demon was gone, he didn't look the same. The stuff is real. That's the ones when you're that far into it, they are manifested in you. All these other things are still demonic. All these things are. But it's his way of oppressing you. It's his way of keeping your attitude away from God and what he's doing for you and looking at all the things that are not going right for you. Yeah, I mean, look at the church. Look how many empty seats we got here. All these other churches are full all the time. And look at that. It's just been something I did. That's oppression from the devil.
That's right.
Sometimes God wants a group this small because He wants to get the words to these people. He might have you praying for some work. Because we're not talking about you being delivered from all these things so much as you going and deliver other people from it.
Amen.
We're not going to do a tent revival out here on the property because we want to deliver the few people that we got in our church or any kind of demonic activity. We want to get this out to the people on the street.
Yes. That's right.
If anybody got any ideas about any other ways to get it out there, you come talk to me anytime, man. We'll do it. If it's in our power, we'll go do it.
Amen.
Or we'll find a way to get it done.
That's right.
But we got to get it out there. Those people are dying and they're going to hell at a rapid rate. Hell is real.
That's right.
It's not a make-believe. It's real. And it never was created for man. Never. Men go there by choice. Women go there by choice. They don't go there because God wants them there. Like the lady told me at my Bible study when she came in at the end of the Bible study. I don't believe a loving God would send anybody to hell. I said, you're absolutely right. He'll love you all the way to the gate, and He will let you walk in by yourself. He'll never send you there. You do it yourself.
That's right.
I wouldn't do that to myself.
Yep.
But your heart's not with the Lord. But anyway, I digress. Time's up. I don't want to take any more of your time. I just want you to get a good seat at the next restaurant you go to.
Okay.
But if anybody's change didn't get booked this morning, got any other ones laying out there that you didn't know about until I said these things, you're still in the chain breaking business.
Amen.
Because I know when we were in worship, that the Spirit was in here strong. Before Susan said the word, she said, I knew the presence of the Spirit was very strong this morning. And when she said what she did, I knew this was God because this is exactly where I was going anyway. We call them chains, we can call it oppression, we can call it anything you want. It all comes from the same source, and there's only one source of deliverance. There's only one source of relief. There's only one source of healing. The name is Jesus.
Amen.
Yay!
Amen.
Well, y'all, quit being so happy and get sad, please. Be like the Church of God on the Bible Belt. You got a word for what? God don't do that. Unless it's from Grandma, she the only one. It's only the family. These little churches got just their family. Oh yes, y'all talk to Terry Dion. You know, Terry, the Lord give him His word. Oh, you want me to tell you such and such? Oh! They go to his house and we don't want you to come back on church. I'm serious. All his neighbors pastor their own church. He's gone to every one of them. They don't want to be healed. Baptist church don't want to be healed. All right. Nobody had need for anything? Y'all already came up and got prayed with. Let's all get together and pray so we can go home.